भागवत प्रिय राधेश्याम केशव माधव यादव नंदन राधे कृष्ण राधेश्याम केशव माधव यादव नंदन राधे कृष्ण राधेश्याम राधे कृष्ण राधेश्याम राधे कृष्ण राधेश्याम राधे कृष्ण राधेश्याम राधे कृष्ण राधेश्याम.
Next we will be singing a bhajan on Lord Krishna. Krishna bhajo Murali Gopal bhajo 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 Shama Gopal 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 bhajo Murali Gopal bhajo Giridhari Shama bhajo Radhe Govinda 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 bhajo Madhuvana Sanchari Shama Gopal 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 bhajo Krishna bhajo Murali Gopal bhajo Krishna bhajo Murali Gopal bhajo Shama Gopal bhajo Murali Gopal bhajo Shama Gopal bhajo Murali Gopal bhajo Giridhari Shama bhajo Radhe Govinda bhajo Giridhari Shama bhajo Radhe Govinda bhajo Madhuvana Sanchari Shama Gopal bhajo Madhuvana Sanchari Shama Gopal bhajo Krishna bhajo Murali 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 Gopal 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 bhajo
श्याम सुंदर मदन मोहन वृंदावन बिहारी 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 वृंदावन बिहारी गोवर्धन गिरिधारी वृंदावन बिहारी गोवर्धन गिरिधारी वृंदावन बिहारी गोवर्धन गिरिधारी वृंदावन बिहारी गोवर्धन गिरिधारी गोवर्धन गिरिधारी गोकुल संचारी गोवर्धन गिरिधारी गोकुल संचारी गोवर्धन गिरिधारी गोकुल संचारी गोवर्धन गिरिधारी गोकुल संचारी गोकुल संचारी तुलसी माला धारी 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 श्याम सुंदर मदन मोहन वृंदावन बिहारी श्याम सुंदर मदन मोहन वृंदावन बिहारी वृंदावन बिहारी गोवर्धन गिरिधारी वृंदावन बिहारी गोवर्धन गिरिधारी गोवर्धन गिरिधारी गोकुल संचारी गोवर्धन गिरिधारी गोकुल संचारी गोकुल संचारी तुलसी माला धारी गोकुल संचारी तुलसी तुलसीमालधारी श्याम सुंदर मदन मोहन वृंदावन विहारी श्याम सुंदर मदन मोहन वृंदावन विहारी वृंदावन विहारी वृंदावन विहारी।
Awesome. That was so nice, Shruti and Kirtana Viswesh, and Soham and Sharva Gorugantu. So without further delay, we would like to have Swamiji take over and take us to one of the greatest devotees. Swamiji, please take over. Thank you.
Before I start, I think today's bhajan was a resounding success, because just now when he was trying to announce, it was resounding. Thank you, Sharva, Soham, Kirtana and Shruti. Very beautiful songs. I really liked what you are doing with children participate with bhajans. It's a nice addition to this program. I'm really enjoying it. Thank you, kids, for singing. ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्मा तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रयविनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुः तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयादितरतः चार्थेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृदां यथा विनिमयः यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि धर्मः प्रोज्झितकैतवोऽत्र परमः निर्मत्सराणां सताम् वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम् श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यतेऽत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषुभिस्तक्षणात् निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखादमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः. Whenever there is a new gadget, instrument, vastu that comes out, either we have already heard about it so much that on the release day we are crazy enough to stand for hours together to procure it, or we have gradually heard so much about it that finally an interest is created, and that interest becomes a want, and a want becomes a need. Without that hearing about that vastu, the prema for that vastu will not be possible. Similarly, without hearing the glories of Bhagavan, bhakti very rarely is pre-installed package that as soon as you are born, it just unfolds itself. It is an effort that each one of us has to inculcate. Choices will be there, a lot of them. And while listening to Prahlada Charita, we should not make a statement saying, oh, I am predisposed to my genetics, I am predisposed to my nurture, I am predisposed to my parentage. The worst of the condition that Prahladji was born in. And yet, when we take the names of greatest devotees ever, he is Agraganya, he is on the topmost. Because he spent his time in that kind of manana chintana of that Bhagavan. So therefore, even in spite of varied environments, can bhakti be inculcated? Of course, definitely yes, it can be inculcated. When Ratnakara can become Valmiki, in spite of the backdrop of his story, when Prahlada, in spite of his genetic predisposition, still, we don't have to cut a sorry figure in saying, Ayo, what should I do? I was born in such an environment. I was not given such a exposure. It's okay even if we had not such, but when opportunity strikes, make a conscious decision to be in that Shravana, in that Kathamrita Rasa of Bhagavan Sri Hari. That is the best way. But Bhagavan is so benevolent, he says, even if it is kenapi bhavena, kenapi upayena, manaha Krishne niveshayet. It doesn't matter which hammer you take to hit the nail in. The nail has to go in deep. So with that context, there is a story in a story in a story. Shukadev ji is narrating a story to Parikshita because Parikshita asked a question and Shukadev ji said exactly a similar story was given by Narad ji because your grandfather seemed to have asked the exact similar question. You mean my grandfather, Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira asked this in Rajasuya Yaga. So while Naradji was describing the account of what was to be clarified with respect to Shishupala and Dantavakra, he happened to mention that they were Jaya Vijaya and in their first birth because of the Shapa by Sanat Kumaras, they were born as Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. And there he mentions that there was one Prahlada. Yudhishthira's mind is, oh, Prahlada, I would love to hear that. Can you tell me more about Prahlada? So the story began from Naradji to Yudhishthira saying, Hiranyaksha was killed by Bhagavan in the Sukara in the Varaha Avatara form. And both Diti and Vrishabhanu, both of them were devastated. Vrishabhanu was a wife of Hiranyaksha and Diti was a wife of Kashyapa Mahamuni. So Kashyapa Mahamuni had two wives, Diti and Aditi. Those who are born to Diti are called Daitya and those who are born to Aditi are called Aditya. So the Kashyapa Mahamuni's Diti, wife Diti, Diti's son Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. So Diti and Vrishabhanu, both of them were crying. And our Hiranyakashipu, he is a orator, man. What amazing reference of Shastra. It is Nitya Atma Avyayaha Shuddha Swarga Sarva Vitparaha Dhatte Savatmano Lingam Mayaya Visarjan Gunan. So he takes straight from the Upanishadic knowledge and delivers an awesome story included in his discourse to these two people, and they get uplifted. As soon as he finds that they are uplifted and they are now safe, what does he do? He goes to do tapas, ghora tapas. Terrifying tapas. For us, when we try to do tapas for even one day of upavasa, a seeming smell of something comes and I'm like, you know what? Bhagwan is very understanding. Bhagwan, I'll do it next Ekadashi. This fellow was on the tip of his toes, standing straight with his hands upward and his dhyana brought to the center of his bhrukuti, from there into the space, and he did tapas in invoking Brahmaji's blessings. And this tapas became so tivra that there was a smoke that was coming because of the tapa, the heat of tapas. His body had become frail, just skeletal structure that was left, and prana shakti was going. He had done prana bandhana, so prana shakti was going on, and Hiranyakashipu started emitting the smoke which enveloped the three worlds. All the devatas, they went to Bhagwan and said, Bhagwan, we don't get N95 these days because on earth they are using it for COVID and the smoke is enveloping. We don't know what to do. Please, why don't you give him blessing? And he said, I know what he's going to ask. I am perplexed as to how to cater to this. They all suggested, why don't you take the able guidance from the Sapta Rishis, and they will be quick enough in giving you a solution. Take them along. So Brahmaji appeared in the 3rd chapter, 22nd shloka. Narada Vacha Ityuktva bhavo devaha bhakshitangam pipilikaihi kamandalu jale nauksha divye namogharadhasa. After Bhagwan Brahmaji addressed Hiranyakashipu, seeing how frail his body was, lost in that tapas, eaten by all the ants and the ant hill that had grown around him, Brahmaji took some water from his kamandalu. Like today we carry. So permanent fixture in those days was a kamandalu. There was always water in it, multi-purpose. So he drew some water in his hand and sprinkled on this Hiranyakashipu, and he became completely rejuvenated with all the limbs intact. And then Bhagwan Brahmaji said, Uttha, Uttishthottishtha, please get up. Now Hiranyakashipu got up, and he was so ecstatic that his tapas finally gave fruit, and he goes in praising Brahmaji. See, all these were well-read people. I was saying the other day, it is not to be understood that they were some kind, as they show it in TV shows and other places, that they had no hair sense, no grooming, personal grooming. So therefore hair was going all over the place, big eyebrows and the teeth in all different directions, and no, they were pretty much like you and me. Rather, they were very astute, scholarly. But in spite of having that buddhi, in spite of having that knowledge, it was not applied in right direction. There is a good Subhashita which says, Pustakastaya vidya parahasta gatam dhanam karya kale samutpanne nasa vidya natad dhanam. Pustakastaya vidya. If anything that we have to claim as knowledge and you have to quickly refer to a book, or in today's parlance, Google, let me Google it up. Bhagavata 7th canto has how many chapters? Oh, let me just quickly refer to Google. I feel after Paramatma, Google has become the Sarvavyapi, Sarvantaryami, Sarvagnya, Sarvashaktiman. So, Jai Bolo Google Anand ki. If our knowledge is elsewhere and not readily there on our fingertips, Pustakastaya Vidya, Nasa Vidya, that is not called Vidya. Yeah, you know where to find what, but that is not called Vidya. That's why when people say, Swamiji, I just made this only for you for the first time from this recipe book. I said, today I am Upvas. You are experimenting your first time on me. Aur koi nahi mila kya? Today I am only drinking water. Don't experiment on me. Because when you are a real cook, do you require a book? Do you require a recipe thing? That's why learning from our parents was so difficult, cooking, because they would say a pinch of this, a handful of that, and what is that kind of your hand is different, my hand is different, my pinch is different, your pinch is difficult. But for them, they required no gadgets. When you look at these online baking videos, they say take exact 1 spoon or 1 exact half, and they will scare you. They say, please be specific about these, and if it is not, then it will be. If your vidya is in those books, in those recipes, in those, then you are not an expert at it. You are not knowledgeable about it. Similarly, I have money, but it is elsewhere. Karya kale, that when it is required, it is not available, then it is neither called vidya nor called dhanam. Nasa vidya na tad dhanam. It is not about how much I have memorized, how much I have learned, how many books I have gone through. Like once somebody came, it seems, to Gurudev and said, very proudly claimed, Swamiji, today I finished reading Bhagavad Gita 18th time. And Gurudev did not even turn around. As he was walking, he said, has Gita gone through you even once? You have gone through it 18 times. Has that knowledge and wisdom reflected through in your day-to-day every nuance of action? Otherwise, what good is that? So he was well read. Look at how he is, stuti of Brahmaji. Kalpante kala srishtena yodhnena tamasavritam abhivyagna jagadidam swayam jyotisvarochisha atmana trivuta chedam srujatyavati lumpati rajasatvatamo dhamne parayamahate namaha. You play with the 3 gunas. You are something that which is beyond 3 gunas. Nama adyaya bijaya jnana vijnana murtaye pranendriya manobuddhi vikarai vyakti miyushe. All these prana, indriya, mana, buddhi, they are all the vikara through which a portion of you is reflecting. He's talking about reflected consciousness. But you are the essence behind, you are the source behind. To that source, Adi source, the first source, because of who this creation has come into being, I prostrate, offer my salutations. And in his stuti, he says, Bhagavan, you are the best of the ones. Therefore, I have invoked your blessings. You are in fact better than all the gods out there. I don't know what he was hinting at. He didn't mention it. So I'm just extrapolating that he is talking about that one fellow, that which he doesn't like. That who shall not be named by him. That Bhagavan Sri Hari and others, they are all chota mota people. You are the best. And therefore, I have invoked you, Bhagavan. Now that you have said, I cannot claim the immortality. I have a clause. If you can fulfill this clause and say Tathastu, then I am blessed. Immediately, Brahmaji looked around to his Saptarishis that were standing. Guys, are you ready? He is going to shoot. It's a rapid fire. And you should be quick. Therefore, he says, 35th shloka. Yadi dasya bhimatan varan me varadottama bhute bhyastvadi visrishtebhyah mrityurma bhun mama prabho. So each one of these shlokas till the end of this chapter are his clauses that he asks for. What are the clauses? He says, Hey Bhagavan, now that you have appeared, I know that my boon that I am seeking will be fulfilled. Here is what I want. What is that? I don't want to be killed by that which is created by you, whether it is human or animal. So Brahmaji, with his 3 heads on the surround system, he had Saptarishis, and the Saptarishis said, there is a flaw in that ask. Say Tathastu. So Brahmaji said Tathastu. Then he said, I should not be killed by anything that is, which has prana or aprana, meaning animate or inanimate. I should not be killed by any one of those. And again, Bhagavan Brahmaji looked around, and Saptarishi said, there is a flaw here also. You can give him the boon. And Brahmaji said, Tathastu. I should not be killed by any of these devatas or daitya, because Manusha and Pashu he has already covered. Or I should not be killed by Naga, Yaksha, Kinnara, Kimpurusha. None of them should be able to even think of touching me. I should not be killed whether inside or outside. Na antar bahir diva naktam, nor diva meaning daytime, nor naktam meaning nisha, the night times. Neither by astra nor shastra. What is astra and shastra? Astra is like a missile which is launched, whereas shastra is handheld for defense or for offense. Usually if it was a live crowd, I would have asked. For example, Belan. Is it astra or shastra? Do you understand Belan? The rolling with which you make roti. So Belan, is it astra or shastra? It depends. If the target is close by, then it is shastra. If the target is far away, then it becomes astra. Now you get the picture, astra, shastra. So astra, shastra should not kill me. Neither I should be killed. Na bhumau, na ambare. Neither on the bhumi nor in the sky. Neither inside nor outside, nor in daytime nor nighttime, and neither on the earth nor up. So please give me this boon so that there can be no warrior that can face me ever. And this way, unchallenged, I want to be the Samrat of these 14 worlds. Apratidvandatam yuddhe ekapatyam cha dehinam. I want to be that ekapati, that the only ruler of this entire creation that you have created. Give me that boon. Now for this boon and conferring this boon to, Bhagavan later scolds even Brahmaji. That's a very funny portion. We'll come to that later. So in the 4th chapter, Naradji says, like this, when Brahmaji was asked by Hiranyakashipu these kinds of durlabha boon, sudurlabhan varans tasya, then what did Brahmaji say? Brahmaji said, Tatame durlabha pumsam yan vrinishe varan mama tathapi vitaram yanga varan yadapi durlabhan. Yes. Though this boon that you ask is not only strange, but it is very rare that I have ever given permission for such a boon. But since you have done such ugra tapas, such great tapas that you have done, I shall bless you with this what you are asking. Tathastu. And thus, Brahmaji, who gave this boon to Hiranyakashipu, he immediately left for, along with Sapta Rishis, he left back to his Loka, Brahma Loka. As soon as this fellow got his boon, what happened? He came back and it was like an immediate launch. Evam labdhavaro daityah bibrad hemamayam vapuhu bhagavatyakaro dvesham bhraturvadha manusmaran. He did not forget even after these many years. Bhratur vadam anusmaran. He was reminding himself about the way his brother Hiranyaksha was killed in by Varaha Avtara. He said, I will now venge for every single time this Vishnu has done something to our kind. So therefore, what did he do? He launched an expedition to conquer 14 worlds. What all did he cover? He covered all the Daityas, his kind. He said, now I am invincible. Guys, either you are with me or you are against me. Do you want to be with me or against me? And everybody said, why do we want to take in Bombay language, Bombay Hindi language? They would say, mujhe panga nahi lena. Okay, you have now this boon. We don't want to cross your path and create unnecessary animosity between us. Whatever you say. They joined. Then he went around, conquered all the three worlds. The Devata, Asura, Gandharva, Garuda, Sarpa, Siddha, Charana, Vidyadhara, Kinnara, Kimpurusha, Yaksha, Rakshasa, Pishacha, Preta, Bhuta. All these different kinds. He won all over them brutally. And he shifted his home base. He shifted his home base to Indraloka. What happened to Indra? He got evicted. Indra and all his Lokapalas were mercilessly kicked out of Indraloka. And in that Indraloka, he created such a beautiful environment for himself. You know, those who become unexpectedly rich, the kind of indulgence that they have in exploding into all those indulgences. He had the walls made of sphatika-mani. He had the asanas carved out of large emeralds. Emerald is a very rare, he carved the entire simhasanas made out of emeralds. And he had curtains made of the pearls, the riches all over the place. And said, this is now suitable for Ekachatrapati. I am that who is ruling this entire world, entire creation. So this suits my status. And in his rule, there were lot of beautiful apsarasas that would walk around, entertain all his daityas. Then our Naradji says, what to tell you, Yudhishthira, except for Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesha, rest of them all were bound by this Hiranyakashipu, that even people like Tumbura and myself had to stand in front of him in that Indra Sabha, which is now Hiranyakashipu Sabha, and sing glories of him to him. It was the most unimaginable times of our life, wherein we were not only oppressed, but we were forced to do certain things. And I can tell you the account myself because I was also bound there. Who is saying this? Naraji is saying this to Yudhishthira. And he became so emboldened that wherever, whoever is following Varnashrama Dharma and performing Yajna Yagadi Puja Ityadi Kratu, from these Yajna Yagadi Karma, there is, when you say into the fire, many times when we sit around the Yajnashala and perform Yaga, Havana Ityadi Karma, many of us have a hidden pyromaniac inside. Why? You have that havis and people keep throwing it into the fire. Now, the purpose is not that you have to throw it into the fire. It has to be said with the mantra, and a proper offering has to be offered at that right time. Whenever they say, Indraya Swaha Idanna Mama, so therefore you offer. Varunaya Swaha Idanna Mama, Rudraye Swaha Idanna Mama. So when you are offering it, those offerings go to these different deities. What would Hiranyakashipu do? He snatched away all those rights, and he said, these offerings is what is making all of them so powerful. So let me cut that. And he took all the ahutis by force. All the power that would come through that to himself. Sayeva varnashramabhihi kratubhihi bhuri dakshinaihi ijyamano havir bhagan agrahitasvena tejasa. 15th shloka we just covered. And this way, he became the single ruler ruling from Indraloka. And who was his slave drive force? He says, Akrishta tasyasit saptadvipavati mahi tatha kama dughagyaustu nanascharya padam nabha. The earth and the earthlings were his slaves. Let me pause here for a moment. In this shloka, the 16th shloka, what is earth addressed as? If you look at it, the second part of first line, Akrishtapacha tasyasit, what is referred? Saptadvipavati mahi. Mahi means a buffalo, he buffalo. That's a Mahishasura. It is not Mahishasura, it is Mahishasura. Mahi is earth. And what is earth being addressed as? Saptadvipavati mahi. When we are reading through these kinds of scriptures, we just cross all these and jump across and just get the story just and say, yeah, I know Prahlada, I know Hiranyakashipu, done. There's so much embedded in there. This is way before Galileo or Newton or anybody could have been there. Vyasa Bhagavan in those days very casually is referring. And the study of geography in Sanskritam is called what? It is called Bhugola Shastra. Right there we had no confusion. What was it referred as? Bhu is Golakara. Golakara means it is round in shape, not flat. That somewhere down the lane at that ocean, when you go across, then you'll fall down into the lower worlds. It is Bhuloka is Golakara. And that Bhumi is Saptadvipavati. Even before anybody could claim that I discovered America, I discovered India, I discovered this, I discovered that, very clearly it is written, 7 continents, endowed with 7 continents is Prithvi. If you go back to the 3rd canto, where Pruthu Maharaj, because of whom we are calling this as Prithvi. So Pruthu Maharaj, he takes the challenge to populate this earth. There, he divides the entire population and gives 7 of his sons, because he had 10 of them, and 3 of them said, Dad, hey Tata, oh father, we are not interested in this samsara chakra. Please permit us to go away. We want to go into Nivritti Marga, Sannyasa Marga. The rest 7, each one of them, he gives different parts of these 7 continents, where he mentions, do not try populating Antarctica, the southern tip, because nothing grows there and it is not convenient for human population. Not the Arctic Circle, he says, that is Tapobhumi. And even in Vedic literature, there is said about Surya Upasana, and there they say that Surya Upasana has to be done for 41 days straight, 24 hours, where Bhagwan Surya is constant. This is mentioned. So when we talk of rishis and the validity of it, go with the openness of possibility, not with, oh, this is old, what kind of stuff are we reading? Give them some credit that they were well rooted in their facts. And then Prithu says, there is a portion, Kraunchadvipe. Kraunchadvipa is where you and I are staying. North American continent is called Kraunchadvipa. There he talks about all the flora, fauna, the kinds of vegetables, vegetation that can be dealt with, how harsh the weather and climatic conditions will be, what kind of rivers, what kind of mountains, what kind of terrain that this Dvipa contains. He mentions that there. If Veda Vyasji had to mention this about 5,100 years ago, it's a casual mention. Like today, when we talk about gravity, we don't have to go into details and prove gravity and then move on. So casually he mentioned Saptadvipavati. Meaning what? They knew their facts. And such Saptadvipavati Prithvi was the slave drive for Hiranyakashipu, and they would produce all these things from earth for his benefit and his utility. Purely capitalistic. Outsource and draw the source from that outsourced place and then use it for your luxury. Heights of it. Saitham nirjita kakube karat vishayan priyan yatopajosham bhunjanaha natrupyat ajitendriyaha. Now all these are nothing but indulgences at a physical level. And all his tapas shakti was spent only in, the shakti that he had gained through his tapas, that tapas shakti, he started using it up in all these indulgences and fulfilling his manoratha. So when this was happening, many devatas, many of the Rishi Muni, they all said, there is only one Bhagwan and that Bhagwan has to protect us. They said, let us make a sankalpa to invoke that Bhagwan Sri Hari and his blessings, call out for him and his help. Enough of this torturous life that we are leading. And they did severe penance not eating food, not drinking water, and constantly thinking of Bhagwan, invoking his grace and blessings. Iti te samyatatmanaha, 23rd shloka. Samahita dhiyo malaha upatasthur hrishikesham vinidra vayu bhojanaha. They also did severe tapas in invoking Bhagwan Sri Hari and his blessings. And he didn't appear to them physically, but there was a Akashavani, wireless message. Whenever I hear or go through that Akashavani, I remember the Sanskrit news that used to be happening in Iyam Akashavani. Samprati Vartaha Shruyantam Pravachakaha Baladevananda Sagaraha. Do you remember anybody? So there was an Akashavani, Vani from Akasha. That was Bhagwan Sri Hari sending them a message. And what was the message? 25th shloka. Ma bhaishta vibhuda shresthaha sarvesham bhadramastuvaha maddarshanam hi bhutanam sarvashreyopapattaye jnatametasya dauratmyam daitaryapasadasya cha tasya shantim karishyami kalam tavat pratikshata. This is Ma bhaishta. Oh dear ones, do not be feeling so desperate and be miserable. Help is coming its way. I will be coming myself and I will uplift you all again. I know all the bad deeds and how he has been torturing this creation. Jnatam etasya dauratmyam. I know. So you don't need to, relive those things in narrating it to me. I understand what you're going through. Tasya shantim karishyami. I will put an end to him. This is my promise. But tavat, for that to happen, kalam pratikshata. For a little more time, please have patience. I am coming. कृपया ध्यान दे, आप प्रतीक्षा करें. You please wait. I am coming. Time has come for his final thing to be done. It's almost there. So why are you coming? So the same bhava which is given in the Bhagavad Gita, yada yada hi dharmasya, a similar bhava is given here also in the 27th shloka. So avatara can be called as the incarnation of Bhagavan. And he comes again and again, you can say reincarnate. You and I don't have that kind of choice. So in our theological understanding, there is no reincarnation of you and me. Rebirth I can understand. Punar Janma. It is not Punar Avatara. If we translate Janma as birth instead of incarnation, incarnation is that Narayana alone who can incarnate. I'm just trying to change the vocabulary there so that we are on the same page. Only he can, with his will, come. You and I don't have that will. We are born because of the force of Maya and its Trigunatmika effect. He controls it and expresses himself. Yada 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 deveshu vedeshu goshu vipreshu sadhushu dharme mayicha vidveshaha sava ayusha vinashyati. I'll come to take care of Deva, Veda and the cows. Therefore, when it is talked about the protection of cows and taking care of those cows, it is closest to Bhagavan, very dear to Bhagavan. In several references that you can run through, several Puranas that you can read through. Every form of expression of that divine always says that I have come to protect Deva, Dvija, Guru, Gau, Gau meaning the cows. Whenever such people are tortured, and my dharma is that which I have established in the beginning of this creation, when that dharma is twisted for conveniences and not live that dharma according to what dharma is being prescribed as, sooner or later they will be removed. Sava ashu vinashyati. They will be eliminated, destroyed. Thus, when Bhagavan gave that santvanat, gave that assurance, they all rejoiced and increased their tapas in waiting for Bhagavan to arrive. So Naradji continues, he says, Ityukta loka guruna tam pranamya divaukasaha न्यवर्तन्त गतोद्वेगाः मेनिरे चासुरं हतम् तस्य दैत्यपतेः पुत्राः चत्वारः परमाद्भुताः प्रह्लादो भून्महांस्तेषां गुणैर्महदुपासकः. Now while Hiranyakashipu had shifted his home base to Indraloka, there in that Indraloka he had 4 sons. 4 unusually great kids that were born to him. Of them though, Prahlada, the youngest one, was the best of them all. Prahlado bhun mahan tesham. He was the best among the 4. Gunair mahadupasakaha. He was best of the gunas that you can think of in an individual sadhaka. You could find all of those qualities in one Prahlada. Gunair mahadupasakaha. Why do you say that he had all these gunas? Then Bhagavan says, Naradji says, Brahmanya Shila Sampannaha Satya Sandho Jitendriyaha Atmavat Sarva Bhutanam Ekah Priya Suhrittamaha. Brahmanyaha Shila Sampannaha. He was abiding in all great qualities and turning them into virtues. And wherever he found profoundness of scholarship, profoundness of knowledge, wisdom and devotion, he would respect such people, such environments and offer his salutations to him. And he followed Satya Sandha. He was truthful by nature. Jitendriyaha. He had controlled all his organs of perception and action. Atmavat sarva bhutanam ekaha priya suhrittamaha. As he would want to be treated, he treated everyone with that kind of samabhava, with love and compassion. And he would dasavat santanat. If there was somebody who were in challenging situations, in a very deplorable conditions, as a father would take care of their child, he would take care of them with that kind of compassionate heart. Pitruvat deenavatsalaha. Like a father, he would take care of them. Bhratruvat sadrishe snigdaha. And to those who were friendly to him, he would be like a brother to them. Gurushu Ishvara Bhavanaha. And in Guru, he saw Bhagavan Sri Hari himself, and with worshipful attitude would humble himself down to learn from them at every step. Vidyartha Rupa Janmadhyaha Manastamba Vivarjitaha. He had absolutely no arrogance. Now, born in such Just because the father had earned, father has name and fame. People have two horns and a tail which is missing. Why? And they go, पता है किससे बात कर रहा है? Whenever I get into such position when somebody has, do you know who you're talking to? What, you don't know it yourself? The arrogance shows. You are talking to the greatest devotee of Puja Gurudev. God, your devotion, your everything is gone in that one statement. Mana, ahankara, abhimana, the one who has given up is the one who is qualified to be called as a bhakta, sadhaka. He had all those qualities. See, mana, abhimana, that word, mana means, the root word, it says, that which you calculate. Parimana, parimana is again the same root word. That with which we measure. What does abhimana mean? Abhimana means abhitaha, from all different possible directions, possible angles, I have evaluated myself and a self-worth and gathered it to be such. Supposing it is this size of my self-worth. When the outside world, how it treats me, is a little bigger than what I thought of myself, I feel so happy. When that same world looks at it a little less than what I thought of myself, good speaker. Good speaker, I see. Everybody was sleeping in your satsang. That's why good speaker. You have your own self-evaluation. I look beautiful. I look handsome. I am tall, dark, handsome. I am so agile. I am so athletic. I am so smart. Even the dumbest fellow would not want to say that I am dumb. Everybody thinks they are smart only. All these evaluated go into the calculation, and that we hold on to as our identity. But Prahlada, as a sadhaka, as a bhakta, his mindset was no other identity other than me being the devotee of that Bhagavan. The rest of it all have to be unmasked, have to be ripped open and discarded, shredded away. Nothing else matters. Therefore, Upanishad says, to be a sadhaka, to be a devotee with this kind of mindset, I think it is in Mundaka Upanishad and in Kathopanishad, where it says, Atma balahinena na labhyaha. The one who does not have the courage to rip away all these layers cannot be called as a sadhaka. But if we use the sadhana itself as a sleeve that you wear on your sleeve and say, you know, I had opportunity to spend time 15-20 years with Gurudev. Even his suitcase spent that much time. What is the difference? उस सूटकेस में और तुझ में कोई फर्क है क्या? I do 3 hours of puja. It is not the quantity, it is the quality of how that mind can be brought in and applied when you are outside of puja as well. Otherwise, that which is supposed to be the sadhana to remove, we try to make that sadhana itself as our ego layer. But Swamiji, you may be criticizing so much, but I am not that bad. Your own statement is proof enough. I'm not that bad means what? You have confessed that there is still work to be done. And this is not for even a realized master. It's talking about the quality and a qualification of a sadhaka. So manastamba vivarjitaha. He said, no other identity matters. The only identity that matters is I means devotee of Bhagavan. Rest of it, I don't care, I don't want. And then he continues to elaborate him. He says, Yasmin mahadguna rajan grihyante kavibhirmuhu nate dhunapi dhiyante yatha bhagavatishvare yam sadhugata sadasi ripavopi suranrupa प्रतिमानं प्रकुर्वन्ति किमुतान्ये भवादृशः. Says, though being born in such an environment, it was as though the environment had no effect on him. Meaning what? If we want to choose to be a sadhaka, don't blame the environment. First of all, we have to change another mindset. This kind of spiritual thinking has to be inculcated even when we are child. Just as a child, in that age, we have to start inculcating it. Vedanta is not for somebody who is having one foot hanging in the grave. There are many volunteers that come to serve when I'm conducting YUP course to help there. And when they see these youngsters learning, they all say, Swamiji, you should do something like this for us also. In a very jovial way, I tell them that, Amma, there is a hope there. What do you mean, Swamiji? You are hopeless or what? No, better luck next life. BLNL. Why does it become so difficult? Because the amount of layers that we have to rip them out, we are not convinced ourselves with clarity to do that. Viveka has to translate into Vairagya. And it has to be instilled right at that age where they are ready for facing life, not afterwards. When do you require a GPS? After you reach home or in order to reach home? Similarly, this GPS, Guru Parampara Sampradaya. When is it required? When we are quite young, that is when it has to be instilled. And we see that in Prahlada, that he had absolutely no effect of the entire environment, though the environment was so influential, and yet he was nirlipta. Have you ever smelt the lotus fragrance? Sometimes during Navaratri, Devi Navaratri, we would go out and go into the lakes and ponds and gather these, then in the local temple, let's say we need 1,000. So we would all, like children, go out and start gathering them. One of the best things, as you gather them, very subtle fragrance. If I may say, it is even more subtler and more fragrant than jasmine. But where does it grow? It grows in murky, muddy waters. The lotus does not throw air and call out on Bhagwan. Bhagwan, do you know my potentiality? What delicate fragrance that I can bring out? I'm a delicate flower. Where did you put me here? It doesn't complain. What does it do? Drawing its essence from the same murkiness, it pulls its essences and brings out the best without any murkiness in its expression. That is how a sadhaka should be. And you could find such in Prahlada. Even when he was young, 37th shloka, Nyasta kridanako balaha jadavat tanmanastaya Krishna graha gruhitatma naveda jagadidrisham. When at that age, 5 years old, when you want to play with dolls and this and that, he would not be interested in that at all. All that he would be doing was meditate and think about Bhagavan Krishna. Sometimes he would walk around in the gardens, doing what? Imagining that Bhagavan is sitting right there under that beautiful tree laden with so many flowers. There are so many bees and bumblebees, and how Bhagavan would be looking so beautiful and pretty in that particular place. Sit there, imagine that all of this is in service of Bhagavan, and be lost in that thought. Sometimes he would feel, when he would feel mechanical or some disconnect, and he would cry for hours together, Bhagavan, another day has passed by without me having an opportunity to see you. When will I get to see you? In pangs of separation, he would cry. Sometimes when his mind is in the most sattvic state, he would imagine as though he is dancing with Bhagavan. So people would find him dancing around in the halls, dancing around in the hallways, around the palace. People thought, bacha hai, small kid, he's having his own fun in his own way. Kvachid drudhyati vaikunta chinta shabala chetanaha kvachid hasati tanchinta hlada udgayati kvachit. So sometimes he would be crying for Bhagavan. Sometimes he would be laughing as though thinking he is dancing with Bhagavan. Sometimes he would think, sitting and being in the lap of Bhagavan, caressed and hugged by Bhagavan. And there in that thought, he would be lost. You keep asking, right? Swamiji, how to meditate? This is how you meditate. Meditation is not about having a framed Bhagavan and then do your puja, and that too with all kind, I call it animosity, but somehow we want to quickly do it and get away with it. Have you seen the puja archana when it happens? It's the most hilarious things that I cannot stand. They'll hold that and then if somebody is standing there and you keep throwing flowers at them or akshata at their face, do you think that is called as puja? Om Namaha Namaha, Om Namaha Namaha, Om Nyaha Namaha, Nyaha Namaha, Om Nyaha Namaha. Baba, that is called himsa. That is not called puja. That image that you have in front of you, imagine it in your own heart in a 3-dimensional live format. Like when you think of your beloved children, is it a two-dimensional black and white photo? Or is it their smiling face, that things that they have spoken with you, interacted with you, all of those reminiscences that we bring it? That is where you're doing dhyana of your children, right? Similarly, when you're talking of Bhagavan, all these various aspects, he would imagine interacting with Bhagavan as though sitting in his lap, as though feeding Bhagavan, as though being fed by Bhagavan, as though walking around or dancing around with Bhagavan. I was consumed with that idea or concept. Now Yudhishthira says, Naradji, you know everything because you are the Uttama Bhakta. Please share with us also that if the sun was such a, even listening to his glories as you have narrated, my heart is filled with joy. Listening to such a child intoxicated in love for Bhagavan. A father usually loves the child, and even if the child makes some mistakes, makes some corrections and moves on with that child. Sometimes even goes to the extent of protecting the child, even if knowing that the child has done something wrong. That is usually the bond between a father and a son. But what happened that this Hiranyakashipu got so agitated and tried to kill his own son? And that son who you cannot complain with. If Yudhishthira must be thinking, if I had a son, I would be wanting this kind of a son. Why would Hiranyakashipu turn against his own son like that? What transpired? What happened? So he's asking, Ye tat kautuhalam brahman asmakam vidhama prabho pituh putraya yad dveshaha maranaya prayojitaha. To a point of dvesha towards his own son, to even think of killing his own son? This kind of son? How did that transpire? What happened? So there, Naradji in the next chapter is saying, Hiranyakashipu saw that his son was spending his time playing around in his own world. He said, this is the best time to put him in Gurukula. Put him into education system. So he employed 2 teachers. Their names were Shanda and Amarka. And they were the sons of our Daitya Guru. So he called for them and said, your job is to teach my son as well as other children here. So the palace, Indraloka, outside the palace in the forested area, they constructed a beautiful ashram kind of an environment, sponsored, state sponsored. It was not run by the gurus. It was state sponsored. It was sponsored by Hiranyakashipu. And he created a nice living quarters for all these students. And he said, now take my sons and teach them as well. So that portion is being said here. Paurohityaya Bhagavan Vritah Kavya Kilasuraihi Shandamarkau Sutau Tasya Daitya Raja Grihantike. Now Shanda and Amarka will call for to be the teachers. Tauragnya prapitam balam prahladam nayako vidam pathaya masatuh pathyan anyanscha surabalakan. Along with other children of the asuras, there was in this Gurukula, Shanda and Amarka invited Prahlada as well and started teaching them. Then what happened? One day, there was a vacation time. So Prahlada came back home. Ekada surarat putram ankamaropya pandava prapracha kathyatam vatsa manyate sadhu yad bhavan. Ankamaropya pandava. He took him in his lap, Pandava. Now, where did Pandava come here? Pandava here is referring to Yudhishthira. Hey Pandava, hey Yudhishthira. Because Narad is telling this story to, in the story we should not forget the link. Narad is telling this story to Yudhishthira. Thus that they were speaking was being informed by Parikshita, by Shukadevji to Parikshita. So, hey Pandava, once this father Hiranyakashipu, seeing his son come back, and he had some time and he was not that intoxicated, so he saw his son and said, "Hey, beta, you're back. Come, come, come." And he took him in his lap. And papracha, he asked, like how, I'm not comparing that way, but there's an inquisitiveness, I think, every parent. Like when you pick up your children from Balavihar, what is the first thing that you ask? How was your class? What did you learn today? In fact, kindergarten through or pre-K through 5th grade, you don't even need to ask that question. As soon as even they are stepping into the car, they'll, Mama, you know what happened? Today, until you reach home, even after you reach home, going still. You have to tell them, you have to plug them up. Say, enough, I have understood. Stop. By the time you come to middle school, you ask the same question. Guys, how was your Sunday? What did you learn today? And they have that sunken eye look. They think it is cool, I think. There's a sunken eye look. And they look at you or look through you. Nothing. It has to come in that sing-song way. Nothing. What do you mean nothing? What did you guys say? Stuff. What do you mean by stuff? By the time they come to high school, they don't even want to say a word. They keep looking at you. What does that look mean? Duh. As if I'm going to answer this question. Can we move on? So Prahlada came first time from the school. He was excited. He ran to his father, sat down, and father said, "Beta, what did you learn in the school?" Beta also was like, straight up. Satyasandha. Straight, truthful chat. Prahlada vacha. Tat sadhu manye suravarya dehinam. He says, look at the Vedanta that he is going to talk. He's saying, "Oh, father, I'm glad we are having this opportunity to sit down and have this chat, have this dialogue. I think many of us in this world, we are caught up in this notion of I and mine. I and mine, we are caught up in this griham andhakupakam. Consider this identity as our very definition of being, and we are caught up in that andhakupa, dark well, and we don't see anything beyond that. But instead, I think, dropping this I and mine, we should go to Ekantavasa. Vanam gato yat harimashrayet. And there, spend our time, this beautiful opportunity that we have, to spend this beautiful opportunity in thinking about that Shri Hari. Father, wait a second. Did I hear it right? Come again. What'd you say? Vanam gataha dhyayet Sriharim. His eyes widened up. Even my enemies dare not mention that name in front of me. How dare you mention that name? Shrutva putra giro daityaha parapaksha samahitaha. Listening these words of Sri Hari as the sole purpose of life. Parapaksha samahitaha. Of somebody that he hated, his own son was saying, Dad, that is our greatest refuge. Then he turned around thinking, somebody is poisoning my child's mind. Jahasa buddhir balanam bhidyate parabuddhivihi. Somebody is poisoning my child's mind and making him into Vishnu Paksha. Somebody who is supporting Bhagavan Vishnu. Though he is saying, calling him as that Vishnu, but somehow when I mention it has, I cannot say that Vishnu, Bhagavan Vishnu. Somebody is instilling these kinds of poisonous thoughts. Samyak vidharyatam balaha guru dehe dvijativihi. Somebody in that Gurukula is Vishnu Paksha, and he is putting, that fellow is putting poison into my child's heart. And then he says, Vatsa prahlada bhadrante satyam kathayam amrisha balanati kutastubhyam yesha buddhir viparyayaha buddhi bheda parakrita utaho te swato bhavat bhanyatam shrotu kamanam gurunam kulanandana. Hey child, tell me, who exactly taught these words to you? Is there somebody in the Gurukula who is teaching these such things? Is it these gurus that are teaching? They were like shivering, Arre Baba, we never taught such things. We don't even mention such things. We don't know where your son got. They were shivering there, Shanda and Amarka. And when he was asked straightforward question, what does the son say? Prahlada Uvacha. He says, oh dear father, it is only based from our attachments. Because we are deluded, we think there is something called mine and something called not mine. That which is not mine, we make it our pursuit to grab those things. A whole life we keep spending in this cyclical order. And then he says, this kind of mindset, the 12th shloka, and every time I read this particular portion, it like penetrates deep into the heart. Let's see what he's saying. Sa yadanuvrata pumsam pashu buddhir vibhidyate anya esha tathanyo ahamiti bhedagata sati. Let me break that up and explain. Anya esha tatha anya ahamiti. Wherever there is a concept of I, mine, you, yours. Remember, even in Ram Gita, which is there in Bhagwan Tulsidas Ji's Ramcharit Manas, where Lakshmana asks Bhagwan Rama, hey Bhagavan, I have been meaning to ask, how can you define Maya? How will you put Maya in? Like, how do you define it? So Bhagavan says beautifully, Mai ar more tor te Maya. I and mine you and yours, wherever this distinction has begun, and we create that demarcation and keep aggrandizing for that which is not yet mine. Consider this field of functioning as Maya. And what is Prahaladji saying? This kind of mindset is not something which can be called as evolved human mindset. It can only be called as Pashu Buddhi Vibidhyate. The entire samsara that we are stuck in, that mind which is stuck in this bhava of I, my, you, yours, what is Prahaladji calling them? He is calling that buddhi as Pashu Buddhi. In Telugu, I had read a small poem. It's worth mentioning it here. I'll try translating it. It says, ఆడిన మాటను తప్పిన వాణిని గాడిది కొడక అని తిట్టగా విన్న ఆ గాడిద వీడా నా కొడకని ఏడ్చను. It'll be a tough one to translate, but I'll try. A father was scolding a son that, somebody was lying. So the father scolded him. Like, in Hindi also there is this, gade ke aulad. Somebody who is, donkey or something like that. There was a donkey nearby and it turned around. As soon as it was mentioned, it turned around. My child? Who is that? And it looked at the fellow scolding his own son and it started crying. The donkey started crying. No, don't criticize us by calling that kind of a child as my child. We are better than that. ఆడిన మాటను తప్పిన వాణిని గాడిది కొడక అని తిట్టగా విన్న ఆ గాడిద వీడా నా కొడకని ఏడ్చను. So I would not say that we can even say Pashu Buddhi. The Pashu will feel hurt. If something lower than that, then we can say that is where we are. What happens when there is this I, mine, you, yours? And I'm not even saying it as a standpoint of grihastha. Any jiva, whether you are in brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha or sannyasa, if the mindset is that this is mine, this is me, this is mine, that is you, that is yours, and therefore I have to protect mine, yoga kshema, and then that which is not mine I have to grab, I have to find that limelight, spotlight. I think on the Zoom also there is something called spotlight. And we crave for such things. Understand that we are far away from that, even the threshold of spiritual unfoldment. Vadantu shastrani yajantu devataha. It can keep happening. But if this notion is not being weakened to be flushed out, what will happen? I will now start comparing myself with others. Like how that sadhu had asked me, kitne bhakt hain? How many devotees do you have? But this whole field is not for that purpose. And still we get caught up in such. Everybody has this size of house. You yourself must have grown up in a house which is not more than 1,500, 1,200 square feet. You and your relatives, everybody would have grown in that little cubicles of rooms. And this country we have, recently, there was this new family that moved into Dallas. And they said, Swamiji, come for, Gurudev's Paduka Puja and blessings. Went. It was a palatial house, about 6,000 square feet. And I just looked at the Vaibhava and prayed. And that mother says, there is still a lot of stuff in our storage. This house is a little small that we moved. I said, what kind of a house were you living earlier? So I said, I usually don't inquire. How many children do you have? Children, what are they doing? Unless they volunteer that information, I don't inquire. So I asked, how many people live in this house? Just the two of us, Swamiji. Children have grown up. One is studying in college. The other fellow is in the West Coast. He's doing some job. Just the two of us. It's like 6,000 square feet. You will be latkofying on one side as this booth and that fellow in that side as a booth. And the rest of the space is nothing else to do. But then the idea is, when everybody comes to see it is this person's house and it has to be this elaborate, this, that. House, assets. Then what? Compare notes. Where did you buy this? How much does it cost? Okay, they go in this kind of car, this kind of name, this kind of brand, this kind of... They say, how does the child handle peer pressure? I said, there is no kind of handling peer pressure. You just get used to it. Toys change, that is when you are called an adult. The pressure still continues. Why are we doing? Compare, then compete. Then asuya, draga, dvesha, all of that again. If this itself we are not able to cut the attachment to, what are we talking about growing up in any sadhana? And everybody and their mother wants in wherever you go, Swamiji, teach meditation. It seems like the easiest one. You just have to close your eyes and sit down and do. But it is not that easy. So now that which Prahlada is saying so piercing words, we'll continue that Prahlada and his Vachana, I would say Vachanamrita, in our tomorrow's class. I just realized that I passed 9 in my time zone. So we'll continue that tomorrow. Thank you. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet, Asato Ma Sadgamaya, Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya, Mrityor Ma Amritam Gamaya. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shant Shant Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Amma.
Is it Shubha?
Yes, Shubha, go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah. मंगल आरती प्रिय प्रीतम की, मंगल प्रीति रीति दोन की, मंगल कांति हसनि दसनन की, मंगल मुरली वीणा धुन की, मंगल आरती। मंगल बनिक त्रिभंगी हरि की, मंगल सेवा सब सहचर की, मंगल सिर चंद्रिका मुकुट की, मंगल छवि नैनन में अटकी, मंगल आरती। मंगल छटा पवी अंग अंग की, मंगल गौर श्याम रस रंग की, मंगल अटी कटी पियरे पट की, मंगल चितवनी नागर नट की, मंगल आरती। मंगल शोभा कमल नयन की, मंगल माधुरी मृदुल बैन की, मंगल वृंदावन मगट की, मंगल क्रीडन जमुना तट की, मंगल आरती। मंगल चरण अरुण तरुवन की, मंगल करनी भगति हरिजन की, मंगल जुगल प्रिया बावन की, मंगल श्री राधा जीवन की, मंगल आरती प्रिय प्रीतम की, मंगल प्रीति रीति दोन की, मंगल कांति हसनि दसनन की, मंगल मुरली वीणा धुन की, मंगल आरती। मंगल आरती।
श्री कृष्ण चंद्र भगवान की जय. There was a question asked. Please clarify why child Prahlada was imagining and meditating on Krishna, since Lord Krishna incarnated later in Dwapar Yuga. In the 1,000 names, Bhagwan is referred to with all the names. One of them happens to be Krishna also. One reason. Second, it is not like this knowledge was not there available in Satya Yuga. Satya Yuga comes after Kali Yuga only. So like when we see in the past and we say Bhagavan Krishna of Dwapar Yuga, they would say in the earlier cycle of Chatur Yuga, that Krishna. In fact, when you go to Shiva Purana, and there Bhagavan Shiva is getting married, Lord Vishnu is the officiating one, conducting that marriage, and Brahmaji is the priest who is conducting that marriage between Shiva and Parvati. And the first thing that they worship, invoke, do you know who? The first invocation and worship is done to Lord Ganesha, who is yet to be born. So I'm not increasing your confusion here. All that I'm saying is Ganesha ji, in that form to be born, Parvati and Shiva had to come in this sacred act of marriage. But the Ganesha Tattva, the essence of Ganesha, was known and realized even if it were not in that shape and form, which was yet to be born. That is an eternal principle. So from that aspect, Bhagavan Krishna was not an unknown concept. It was a known idea, and Prahlada had known the stories of Bhagavan Krishna as well. So, hope this answer P.S. Verma could answer your question. We'll continue tomorrow. Thank you. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om, sir.